Hello and welcome back to my base in a box. So, in the interest of full disclosure, I have drunk half a bottle of port in celebration of having got the base running. Up in front of us we have the production stats. On the left hand side of the production stats there are charts for the science potions. They are being produced at 1.9k, which is about as much as you can get out of 2 silos. You can't quite get 1k out of 1 silo, so we're just shy of 2k. And just to grind that in, we are producing 195 rocket parts per minute. So it's 1.95k rocket science. And this has been dead steady for an hour now, which I call a success. Then this side has the research, and it took about 20 minutes or so for the, well, let's see. Okay, so it took a while for the first science train to fill up with space science and then deliver that off to the labs, because the labs had completely run dry. So now we have entirely full space science trains running to the labs. The labs are running full time at their max capacity, which if we go down to 10 minutes is 1.8k. So we are producing 100 space packs a minute that we're not consuming in the labs. That has never happened to me before. I have never produced space science faster than I can consume it. So it's a mega base. It's beyond the 1k mark. It is running very slightly under capacity for 2k. And I really need to decide at this point what I'm going to do with this base, because okay, let's go to map view. So at the moment, the majority of the iron for the mega base is coming out of this mine. And this started off at 53 million. Let's turn off roboports. Sorry about that. And electric poles. Okay, 53 million iron. Except if we hover over it, it's down to 33. So we've used 20 million iron from this site already. That's just gone. Okay, there's a patch out of 15. Well, that's not much use, is it? Do we have any other? 49, so that's a candidate. So I think if we're going to carry on the mega base, what we need to do is, where's the midway line? Yeah, this is the midway line here, I think. Yeah, this is it. So what we would need to do is start pushing a laser wall out here, and claiming the next square, and then emptying that of resources, because this square would be further away from spawn of everything, so it's likely to have the biggest patches of anything. And that, you know, there are bits and bats around here, but nothing that gets me particularly excited. There's a 43 million here, but we started off with 53. Yeah, there's a 60 something. There's a 75 there, stuck underneath the border rails. So that would be the next thing to tap. But going at current rates, that's not going to last us very long. Last us for a few hours, and then it will be gone. So I think, yeah, I will tap this. It doesn't solve our copper problem. So at some point we will be low on copper. Copper is at the point where we really have to mine it with bots now. There's 47 million copper here, which I think I may... Yeah, I think I'm going to grab that and do a bot mine on this. And I think that will solve our immediate copper consumption issues. That's coming down on this spur line. But ideally what we'd be doing is extending the 4-line rail out further this way, claiming this land, and finding some much, much larger patches. That would be the hope. So I need some 200 million patches to keep the base running. All right, in other news, this solar is building itself at a rate of knots. Let's go into our really fast plane. Okay. Just check we've got some fuel, because it would be embarrassing if we... No, we've got no fuel. All right, let's grab some fuel. Okay. That'll do. Okay, so let's have a bit of a fly over our solar. So there's still a lot missing. Some of it is genuinely missing. Some of it is issues with... There are no radars here because this was all put down by plane. Right, but so you can see that a lot of this solar is down and just isn't showing up on the map. Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see just how far out the partially built solar goes. Well, it goes out a long way. Okay, so even out, yeah, even out here, there's bits. Okay, so go back onto map view. Yeah, you can see it's just discovering lumps of solar. So we have solar across a large portion of this map now. And actually, power use, let's go down here. Okay, so we have 484,000 solar panels, which is quite a lot. Whoop! I have just coasted all the way across that half of my map. That's amazing. Okay, let's give it a bit of speed and take it down. See what it can uncover. Okay, so it looks like some stuff has been built out here, but not a lot. If we turn on power, so we've got power grid all the way out here, so there is potentially stuff happening. And we have roboports all the way out here, so it can potentially be built. Yeah, so we have a sizable solar build. Okay, so, and just to get a feel for how quickly or well it builds, let's head over to the build lights we had. Okay, so there's some building happening around here. You can see loads of holes. Some of the holes are cliffs, some are things that I've filled in with landfill. Back to production charts. Yeah, the 10-minute one looks good. The 1-hour one, I just need to wait for another 15 minutes. Okay. What else? Well, I haven't really got much else to say or do this thing. It's just basically saying it works. Now, it's obviously running massively under the potential capacity. So my apart from space science, the other science builds run at somewhere between 5 and 7K. Whether we can feed those or not, I don't know, but they have the potential to do a lot more. I want to say a bit about what I needed to do in the end to get this working. Right, so first of all, the science part stream. Okay, so this science part, sorry, the rocket part stream. Right, I had to go through and really carefully ratio out the slots. like literally in a spreadsheet, had to count up the consumption and divide it all out and then work out what would fit in a 40 slot carriage. And it turns out I need 12 slots of rocket control units, I need 13 slots of fuel, and I need 15 slots of low density structures. And almost by magic, once I set those ratios correctly, the trains going around were working. So I set these to exact counts rather than waiting for 5 seconds. And this is set to whenever any of them are empty and there's been 5 seconds of inactivity. Then I had to do something a bit similar with this. So I've had to shift the ratios around a little bit. I actually think I have way too many green circuits in this. I need to reduce that. There should be at most 15 if it was a 45 slot carriage. And of course there are 40 slot carriage. So it should probably be 14 green circuits, and then other things need scaling down. Some things can't be scaled down, so I need at least 1 stack of processing units, for example. Can't go below 1. So anyway, I need to fine tune that, but it seems to be behaving. And the thing that made that behave was doubling up our blue circuit build. That's kept everything going. So I didn't need to increase the battery build. Let's fly over to that one. The battery build was where I was finding all the trains were piling up, but it wasn't an issue with the batteries. It's just batteries build quite slowly, but my battery build was way over capacity. It was, I think it's about 2.5 times the size it needs to be. Here's the batteries. You can see at the moment there's no train in, right? And what was happening was these magical mystery tool trains that pick up loads of different types of item. They're really sensitive to timings in stations and to getting the proportions of items in the carriages correct. If you don't, the timings go whack. So if I could, I would rebuild the rocket silo site to not need... See, this is happy, right? We've got white lights on everything, which is amazing. And there are space science potions sat, 4.5k space science potions sat in there, waiting to be unloaded. This is unprecedented. I've never had anything like this. So what next? So the issue, I think my refinery complex is vast. I think that can support maybe not a 60, maybe not a 60 launches a minute, but you know, a good proportion of a 60 launch a minute build. It's a massive refinery, and it's off most of the time. So what's good? Oh, just some damage. So what else? I think if I increase the labs, I would then get to the point where I was consuming space science as fast as it was being made, and that would push some of the other science builds, and we might find that something else is a bottleneck. But basically it's going to be getting ore in, which is the problem now, and that means claiming territory. So at some point I'll have mining productivity of 2,000, 3,000, and then I can power the whole base off 5 mining drills and some hope. But at the moment I need to mine out entire patches. I'm in the bot mining is most efficient phase. So I think what I need to do is claim the territory to the west of Northwest, prospect that, see what's in there. The other thing I need to do is, so you can see all these damage markers. I never actually set up automated repair. I probably should, except now my lasers are powerful enough that I only need lasers, right? I don't need any of this other stuff. So if the whole of this got chewed away by biters, I would still have the laser wall. I would still survive. I don't even need wall anymore. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do about that. I think maybe I'm going to set up a simplified blueprint, which is the rail. Yeah, which is the rail and the lasers and no wall and the artillery, and that's it. I think a really stripped down one, which then I can just push out. Push out here and then join up, and then I've claimed a new segment, and hopefully I'll find some 200 million patches, and that would actually be enough to keep this running for a while. This segment here, I don't care. There's some 32 million, 40 million copper. There's a, yeah, this one here is down to 52. That's down to 20, which is slightly worrying because that's running our starter base, and the starter base is still what's producing. I've turned off science in starter base. Don't know if I showed you that before. I cut the belts. Where did I cut that belt that was feeding in? I cut these belts. Basically cut a bunch of belts that weren't needed for anything else. We still have materials going down to these assemblers for making our solar farm. But basically this site is essentially mothballed, and it's tempting as and when we expand. It would be tempting to add on the end of here, for example, an artillery shell factory, and the other small things that we constantly need. A little make everything area perhaps, so that I don't need these 1-4 trains going to random places, picking at tiny patches. Anyway, I think I'm not sure at this point whether to build bigger or give this world a rest. What I am going to do though is run it for a while and check that it really does run at just shy of 2K. Yeah, that's it really. This world has been a massive learning experience, particularly about the smelters and how to arrange the tracks for those. Yeah, mistakes were made, lessons were learnt. I'd quite like to build a world a bit like this from scratch, knowing what I know now. But I should probably get on and do other things with my life in the meantime. So this is me signing off. I'm not sure when I will be back with this world. I'll keep tinkering around with it in my private time. But yeah, I don't know what I can do with this which does something interesting. So if you have suggestions about what you'd like to see me do with this, any major redesigns or different directions I could take it in, or if you'd like to see me try and push towards 10K, for example, let me know in the comments and I will have a think about it. Until then, thanks very much for watching. I have my Grinds My Gears series going on where I am making an unimaginable mess of a more science mod. So I'm probably going to start broadcasting that a lot more. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you again soon, here or in another world. Bye-bye.